Roll for Crit here to keep you up to date with the newest board game announcements, including expansions for some big games like Wingspan and Gloomhaven, and plenty more. Let's get into it.
The Adventure Zone Bureau of Balance from Together Studios was announced. It's based on the podcast The Adventure Zone, usually good to keep the name around, where you will be playing and trying to match wits with Gerblins and other villains in different locations. This is a cooperative storytelling game that's based on the D&D adventures there. So this is meant to be a game where everyone just works together to tell a story, go through these adventures that are very similar to, though if this is D&D related, you'll probably be able to go off in much weirder paths because that's what players always do.
USAopoly has announced another brand new version of Codenames, this one themed around The Simpsons. It'll use the same gameplay as other Codenames entries. There will be multiple teams, and each team will have one person giving clues to try to get the others to guess from the lineup of cards. This one will be using pictures, like Codename Pictures, but all of the pictures will be of characters or items or locations from the TV show The Simpsons.
Renegade is releasing the first expansion for its Eternal Chronicles of the Throne card game. This one has the subtitle Gold and Steel. The story is the rebellion failed, and now the city's built up a thriving marketplace with lots of traders coming in. This will of course add new cards and 4 new mechanics, with many strong abilities if you have the coin to pay for it.
Leader Games has announced that they have picked up and will be publishing a new version of the game SPQF, which was designed by Grant Rodiak and released in a very limited run. Now they are taking that game and retheming it and renaming it Fort. Whereas the original one was about building a civilization, this one goes a little smaller and it's about kids building forts in their local neighborhood. It's a deck building game. It's going to have artwork from the same person who did Root, so a similar kind of aesthetic, but it's a brand new IP for Leader Games, and a lot of people liked the original, so you can look forward to when this one is released. Hopefully we learn more about that in the future.
Gloomhaven, it's probably what most of you are here for. They announced at the Shut Up and Sit Down convention in Vancouver, not only a new expansion, but also a new retail edition. We don't know much, and they don't either. You can actually look up the image they have for the retail expansion. It says Gloomhaven subtitle. But supposedly the retail version is supposed to be a bit more streamlined and smaller. I guess a lot similar to what we saw with 7th Continent, and making it easier to pick up for the casual gamer.
A new one from Haba has been announced for release later this year. It's called Miyabi, and it's about players trying to build a beautiful little Japanese garden. Each player has their own personal grid, and they can place tiles from a center area onto that grid, but one of the icons in the tiles has to match the row with that specific icon on your board. So you're trying to place them in ways and pile them on top of each other to get more points. This is from the same designer as the game Azul, so if you're familiar with that, you might have an idea of the type of gameplay you can expect from Miyabi.
Getting ahead of their convention or maybe festival, depending on how you see it, for Burning Cat, Exploding Kittens is released on a scale from 1 to T-Rex. This game is like charades, but the idea is not only do you have something that you need to act out, but you also get a scale. So hypothetically, if I'm trying to act out a T-Rex, I could get a 10 where I have to really go all in on it, or I could get something like a 1 where I'm like, So it's a bit more not simply charades, there's a bit more how much energy you put into the acting you're going to do.
Rallyman GT has been announced for a retail release later this year from Holy Grail Games. This was on Kickstarter, but now they're talking about the actual retail release. It is a racing game, in fact, a new version of an older game just called Rallyman. This one features gameplay for between 1 and 6 players, so it's got a robust solo mode. And you are rolling different types of dice to represent different gears and trying not to go too crazy and get your car to the finish line safely and before everybody else.
Almost a Game is releasing what looks like to be definitely a game titled Space Chase. Do not confuse this with the 1968 version of Space Chase on Board Game Geek. This game is a cooperative game when you are trying to avoid a hunter, but you are unfortunately lost in an unknown sector of space. You have to navigate it through different planets and try to find the spacescape before the hunter catches up to you.
Out of nowhere, the fast food chain Wendy's has decided to enter into the tabletop gaming arena. They released Feast of Legends, a 97-page role-playing game that you can download for free as a PDF right now, and has full rules for classes and character building, and a little mini adventure for players to go on fighting against the evils of frozen beef. You can't make this stuff up. As I said, it's up there right now, so you can try it out if you really want to. It's sort of a simplified rule set of D&D 5th edition with some wacky fast food related items thrown in.
And because we're going alphabetically, we're ending on a big note, and that's the Wingspan expansion. They announced that the first box is going to be European birds, and not only that, it will come with new colored eggs. Don't do anything special, just a nice new color of purple. As well as they announced other couple little small things. This isn't with the expansion, but they have a new starter Wingspan thing you can buy if you have the old kit. This will actually be in new core Wingspan boxes. So if you already own Wingspan, you might want to look out for this. If not, you can just get that. There's also neoprint mats for the boards if you enjoy mat more, or because he had a live stream I watched a little bit on, you could buy one and you can technically play it with 6 players, especially with this expansion.
We expected Wingspan expansions to bring birds from other continents. Are you excited to play with European birds?
I am. I mean, I like that game a lot. Unfortunately, I wanted to ask him a question if he ever thought about doing dinosaurs, since birds are technically dinosaurs, or do some prehistoric stuff. Fortunately, as soon as I typed the question in during the live stream, he's like, "That's enough for today. I got it." And I'm like, just man. Of course.
If you're out there, Stegmeyer or Elizabeth Hargrave, whichever one of you, let us know. Please do dinosaurs.
Another thing that they did bring up in there actually was that he isn't planning everything to fit in Wingspan. Like, you should keep this box to hold on to more content and stuff. So that was nice to hear that too, so I don't throw it out preemptively.
That's a good thing. And Gloomhaven, obviously, the other really big one, and the big news from this set of announcements, I think. And I wasn't sure, because they didn't go, like you said, they didn't have too many details, but it sounded like the quests or scenarios included in this new retail edition, whatever they end up calling it, will be... to me, it sounded like they would be totally new. Like, they wouldn't be just some stuff from the base, like a prelude. But
that's what I wasn't sure about, but it still seemed to be the core philosophy, I guess, to say of this is to be lighter and smaller. Which is, I think, the kind of thing you probably want at retail.
But it's interesting because then it may still appeal to people who have the original version.
Right, which is much nicer than, because I picked up something like, for example, the Target exclusives when they had a game, and because I didn't know, I was like, oh, it's different versions, when it's really like, it's the same thing, but we added like 2 new cards or something. You're like, really? So that does sound like that would be the better path for them to take.
Yeah, that's interesting, as well as that new expansion, which we know even less about somehow.
Another little thing that, I mean, it's not new news, but if you're curious about it, same convention, they showed an image for Pandemic Legacy Season 3.
Right.
I mean, we already knew it was coming. If you just want to see the image, you can look that up.
It wasn't even an image of the board. It was just like...
Yeah, no, we're talking about like just...
I don't even think it said Season 3. I think it just said like Pandemic Legacy. But it's out there. We're waiting for it still. Yeah, so that's something. And wasn't there also, maybe around the same time, I don't think it was at the convention, but a little bit of a magic
for Extra Life, they're doing the set of promos. It actually looks a lot like the ones right behind Jonathan's head. Because if you don't know, Hasbro owns a lot of properties. So they've decided to make versions of My Little Pony characters. Really cute and funny. They have weird abilities. Like, one of them involves getting protection from colors equal to a My Little Pony toy you show. Things like that. I do think they're cute. I wish to do more of the Transformers one, like I have Grimlock there. But I think it's for a good cause, and they do get very expensive. And if you're a My Little Pony fan, this is like fantastic pickup for Commander, because they're all technically legendary, so they can be the one who lead your deck.
Hey, that sounds pretty good to me. I'm interested in that on a scale of 1 to T-Rex, mostly because I know it's from designer Wolfgang Warsch. I think that's probably how you're supposed to say his name. Who did stuff like Ganz schön clever, and I believe he did The Mind also. Like, he's like an established game designer, and I think this is the first time Exploding Kittens has like taken someone like that and published one of their designs.
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember for the other.
I think they're mostly just in-house from what I know, but so that's kind of a unique, interesting thing that they're doing. And I think Fort is the other one that I'm really intrigued by, because Leader Games has done so well with Root, obviously. We really enjoyed that. And
I'm hoping that ends up like Kids Next Door, so I can have like a battleship in my treehouse and stuff.
Yeah, there could be some weird stuff in there. I think that'll be fun.
You're telling me you're not excited to play Wendy's?
Obviously, that goes without saying. I mean, that is the biggest, weirdest one that part of me really does. I mean, I skimmed through some of the document, and God, it's so weird.
I really hope this starts to a bunch of homebrews like the Taco Bell Rogue or the Burger King Paladin.
I'm for it. I'm down for it. I think
Actually, no, he'd be the Rogue, Sneak King.
Oh yeah, well, but he's also a king, so isn't that like its own?
He's a royal rogue.
Yeah, okay, he's a noble rogue. Yeah. There's some stuff you could do there. So a lot of big things. We just had an announcements video not too long ago, and just since then, like all these things have hit.
Yep.
Also, New York Comic Con was the other day, even though there's never too much board game stuff there, but still seems like there's something in the air with people wanting to announce new stuff. We're interested. What are your most anticipated new games from this list?
Are you going to go to the Burning Cat festival or convention? I'm not sure what to title it.
Yeah, are you more excited for Wingspan or Gloomhaven? Because probably two of the biggest, most popular games from the last couple of years are certainly up there. Let us know in the comments. As always, we're interested. And stay tuned for more cool gaming news on our channel, as always. Until then, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Will.
This was Roll for Crit.
We would love it if you liked and subscribed to this channel and supported us on Patreon as well.
For legal reasons, we've got to disclose we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter with more awesome content.